Howdy, y'all. This Stone Hook, Orange, Texas. It's a Tuesday night, I guess. Yeah, it's gotta be Tuesday night tonight. I was gonna work on that little gravel piece I made, but it's so close to finish. It's really cold tonight too, and I wanna try to help somebody with a little fluting. This is a Texas rock. I'm pretty sure Mr. Matt Barnette sent me this rock. I'm going to start labeling rocks though when I get them with the name and the date, because I hadn't done that on any rocks that I've gotten before, and it seems like something you could remember easy, but I can't. Anyways, I'm going to use 1 1/4 pipe size bopper, so it's 1 1/2 inch outside diameter. And I'm going to make a preform like this right here, then set up and flute it like a Clovis. I want to just, there's a crack I didn't really see. I'm going to get some of this thickness off up here first though, I think. Pretty sure that rock's been heat treated. It just looks a little bit shiny, but I can't really tell. Could be raw. I hope it is raw to make Clovis. I don't think Clovis is using heat treated rock, but I don't know that for sure. There's a crack. Yeah, I see it crack going all the way across right there, and then turning down in the rock. Darn it. Crack right there. Looks like it might just be confined to this side mostly by now though. I see it right there. Darn it, it's just gonna go right up the middle of the rock. I yelled the rest of that one. Heck, got a twist in the base. There might be a twist up on this end. me a crusty edge. Well, I flaked this thing. I left a little mass right down each left side there. This whole side's thicker. This side still got the high spot right down this side right there, kind of. Run them flakes in just too flat up there. I should have got more convexity right through there. That's where my problem is right now. So I'm gonna call that preform, and I'm gonna pressure flake it from here. This rock just flakes really easily and smooth. I don't know what kind of rock that is. It's a Texas rock, I'm pretty sure, but it's kind of heat treated beyond what I like. It's just too fragile. I'm gonna just rough these edges up a little bit, strengthen them up. This side right there pretty smooth. This side over here ain't. Oh, I'm gonna a hinge. I was gonna flake that first. I don't know if I get past that little hinge. Smoothed it out a lot. A good smooth contour sure help. These edges are kind of rough, especially right through there. I'm gonna flake this side first to get me just a little bit closer to all them little hinges where I can make sure I get up under them hinges. I ain't gonna try to do too much here. This thing it's a little bit thick, but it's got the good profile to it. Now, I'm not gonna try to thin it anymore. I would love to get them plates to go out there halfway, but I just don't know that I can do that without making 2 or 3 passes. I'm just gonna take one good pressure plate pass down each side. Yeah. Man, I ain't even looking at that camera a whole while in it. I'll just crunch them edges back. Press like that other side. Had a bass pot right there, really bowed up on it, kind of took out too big of like a little bit of pressure. It ain't got perfectly straight margins, but I guess I'll straighten it up a little bit. Still not perfect, but straighter. This side's good enough. Now, I just like to pick the side that you look down this thing. This side, it got a little bit more mass than this side. See, it's kind of a little flatter surface. This got a little more mass. I'm gonna flute this side first. But you can see it's got taper. It's thinner right down here than it is right here. It tapers on down there too. That's kind of important on the Clovis. The thing is important on the Clovis is if like a Cumberland where you want that flute to go all the way, you really got to have good contour all the way up and down for that. But this Clovis, this flute is going to go right up into there somewhere. So. These contours right back here that still matter. I'm going to just put me a good sized bevel. Make sure that's the side I was going to do first. Put me a good bevel right across here. almost got too steep right there. It should be about a 45-degree angle. I'm gonna grind this a little bit. Now see, to that bottom of that bevel though, if I put a straight edge on this right here, well, this is the surface I'm gonna flute. You see how the top of my platform right there, that's gonna be the platform. It's well below the surface of this point. If it's right up there flush with this surface, it makes that flute go straight in parallel with the surface. And that's what's bad about cutting points in two, I think. But if you get good, just like the edge of a biface where you're flaking, you want that radius contour, you want a convex contour right past the edge, right past your platform. That lets you flake, just establish itself thicker to start off with. And then, I'm a pencil. I like to mark the middle of these flutes with a pencil marker, otherwise I'll have that thing off on one ear over here. I even get it off when I mark it sometimes. This right here, when this flute releases, that's my platform right there. Let me get a marker so you can see it better. When this flute releases, it's gonna kind of release a little bit wide, but then it comes out at an angle like this. Then it's gonna start curving up and go wherever it's gonna do. But you want your platform to remain this thickness to there. But this area right out here where this flute is gonna be cutting through that edge, you wanna thin that down with flakes. Kind of pointed outwards actually that way a little bit. That way it makes this area thin right here where this flute is going to cut through. You won't have such a, I mean, your flute won't look like this. It'll have real sharp corners, real sharp sides. You got to do something with. If you remove them, this area right here before you flute, it lets this be a lot thinner. Look there, I ain't even got it in the darn camera. Hope I had that in there. I already ground that a little bit and mark the center. My tool is a little bit blunt. I'm gonna file it just a little bit. I like to start a little flake right there close to the edge. And these next flakes, I'm just start kind of push them out. You want them to feather out like right out here, real smooth. And it don't hurt for that platform to be kind of wider up off the edge than it is right there on the edge. It wouldn't have hurt my feelings if them flakes would have went just a little bit farther. But I'm trying to make this other side match. Darn it, that kind of took off the corner of my platform a little bit, but and it just kind of popped out. It didn't go as far as the other side did. See, that thing ended right there. No, right there on the wrong side. That plate really needed to go out a little farther, because now it's got a little high, like a little high ridge right there. If it didn't have that, I'd be a little more comfortable, but that's just going to create a little kind of steeper edge of the flute right there, I think. And then since it took that corner off the platform there, I'm gonna take the corner off the other side too. Just a little bit so they'll match. Which them corners don't really matter much. For false ones or anything else like that, I'd flip this thing over and take a little small flake right on each side just as a release flake so it'll release right there. But this here, I don't think you need it for a Clovis. That ain't the prettiest platform. It's kind of, I don't know, it just ain't the same on both sides for one thing. These flakes are too short. Anyway, that's the main two things I was wanting to show somebody here tonight. These flakes right here need to come off and have a good, remove some material right in here. Right where that flake's gonna be peeling out. Other than that, I'm gonna have to adjust this camera over here, so I'm gonna do this indirect. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it real zoomed in. I moved the camera over here where it's looking on top of my leg, but this is the only indirect stick I got. I used to love to use a 3/8" copper rod under my leg. But I wore my copper rod out a long time ago and they never replaced it. Yeah, the old moose billet whacker. I'm gonna put this thing in leather just to help me hold it. That piece ain't quite big enough. Get this piece here. I just put it in there like that, but I can't help but put my finger on there. Sometimes I've cut these points in half a lot. It could be because of that finger, I don't know, but I put it there. And just seat my tool right up on that platform. I put just a very little bit of backward pressure. It's not a whole lot. And I look down that thing. And then I always have to turn my point just outboard like that, a little bit. If I don't, that flute comes down the side towards me every darn time. So I'm just gonna line it up best I can and turn it that little, tweak it just that little bitty bit. Oop. See that flute? Oops, that flute come off on the side towards me actually too, because I didn't turn that thing quite enough. So that let it come down one side and kind of go crazy right there at the end. If I would have turned that point outboard a little bit more, it would have kept that flute going right down the middle. I'm gonna grind the snot out of that little point right there. I don't think that's in a position. I was gonna say I'm gonna try to drive another flute down that side right there, but that's not in position to do that. I just kind of widened it out. I'm gonna pressure flake it back to a nipple on this side. That's my main problem fluting with indirect, is keeping that flute down the center of the point. I got that camera moved all out of the way now. a matter of turning that bevel back to the other side. Then on the second side, you never have quite as much meat to work with. But you can see too, this is, when I put that ruler on there, this side is kind of, you don't have quite enough radius close to this edge for what I like. So I'm going to take some little bitty flakes right there. I'm going to flip it over and just enhance this bevel a little bit right there in the middle. Now, I'll have a little bit of radius, a little more radius. Right there, float right there. I'm afraid I don't have quite enough radius. That just looked too flat. Looking down this thing, it looks just too flat out on that surface. I'm gonna go for it. Mark the middle. Man, that flake just went right down the side and cut off half of my dadgum platform. If this was raw church, that would have never did that. All I can do is just hope for the best now, because that's sure that flake just broke out really short and spread out, went down inside there and took off the whole corner of that platform. I just don't have much platform left there. I'm gonna turn this side out a little. I'm gonna tweak it out a little bit farther than I did that other side. That's more what I was looking for on the other side. Just kind of. Man, if that other side would have did that, I'd have been the best darn Clovis ever made. Except it's out of heat treated material. I'm just gonna clean this up clean up. I did that other side of that inject, but I'll sink my tool there and push the flake right out that little ridge, just right there first. See how it kind of just eliminated the little ridges. I kind of pressed out too far because this daggone heat treat themselves. Wonder it didn't go over there and overshoot the edge. This side just didn't clean up very pretty. I left some thickness right on each side of that flute. So I'm gonna try to fix that. My ear a little bit longer than I like. Best not to pick on it too much. Just let that flute be a flute. Yeah, we got an A side and a B side. If I'd been paying attention, I probably could have set that up a little better and tried to flute that again. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna call that it. Hard to show this thing, the flake scars and stuff. Anyway, ready to go. Except for grinding the edges here. That's it. I hope that helps a little bit. I ain't too good at fluting no more. I used to be more into it and do it more, but yeah, I just gotta hit it and see what happens now. I never was too good at indirect with it, though. I always get off to one side. I'm bad about getting off to one side like that. But I will be back.